Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic, and today we have another deck tech for you, and it is Yarok the Desecrated. Yarok is a 3/5 Death Touch lifelink which says if a permanent ET being causes triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So of course with Yarok we're going to have loads of creatures, all that have ETB triggers, and have loads of instants and sorceries that will then flicker those creatures, get them to trigger a bunch of additional times, have a massive army and just overwhelm your opponents. So let's get right into it. Okay, really short first block for this one. We've got ramp, and really with the amount of creatures you're going to see which can help us ramp, you don't need a lot. So we've just got Soul Ring, Ramp and Growth, absolute staple for any green commander deck. Kalni Heart Expedition, which is a landfall, which you will see a few times in this deck. This one, you get a quest counter every time a land enters the battlefield, and you remove 3, and then you can sack it and search for 2 lands. And then we've got Harrow, where you sack a land and then get 2. Okay, and here we can see the big bulk of the deck. There is a ton of creatures in this deck. I want to say around 40. A lot that do similar things, but it's all slightly the same but different. So here you've got Sky Shroud Ranger that you can tap to play an additional land. For 1 green mana, this can be so effective on the early game. We've then got Badoka Gardener. You can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield, and if you have 10 or more lands, you can flip it and create those elementals again. Start building that army that can really destroy your opponents. And one of my favourite cards in the deck, Agent of Treachery. Whenever it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent. Obviously, with Yarok, if Yarok is out, you're doing that twice. And that is the big point of Yarok. With all these ETB triggers, they're going to trigger twice with Yarok, which is super cool. And Gonti, Lord of Luxury next, which is just, I've used it so many times with my friends and it's just so fun. You start looking at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, you can exile it and then play it yourself using mana of any colour, which again, if you've got a deck with black in, I really recommend this card just because it's so fun. Okay, then we've got Ancient Green Warden from Zendikar Rising. You can play lands from your graveyard, and the land ETBing causes a triggered ability, it triggers an additional time. So you've got that permanent triggering just like Yarok, and you can play lands from your graveyard, which is really effective. And then we've got 1 or 2 tutory type cards. So when Runescarred Demon ETBs, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, so you don't even have to reveal it, and it's a big powerful boy. Fierce Empath, very similar. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater, which is really cool. So you could use Fierce Empath to search for a Runescarred Demon, and then start using Runescarred Demon to start searching for even more cards. And then we've got Tatiover. When a land enters the battlefield, you gain life and draw a card, which sounds innocent, but that can really start popping off in this deck. And then we've got a load of land ones, which I won't spend too much time on. Loads of creatures that you can start searching for a land, some specific like forest. This one, Calling Oracle, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield. Again, so many that you can search for lands, which really does just get out of hand. That is the main thing I would say about this deck. It just gets out of hand. You can have so many turns where your opponent's taking 10 seconds for their turn, and you've got so many triggers stacking up that it just gets ridiculous. Okay, then we've got Walking Atlas, very similar to Sky Shroud Ranger, that's just there. You can tap to put a land onto the battlefield, and Llanowar Scout, exactly the same. So good for early game play. Okay, and we've got still Farhaven Elf for that basic land card. Risen Reef, again, land card there, so you can see why there's so much potential ramp in this deck. Again with Yarok triggering twice. Another land card, Elvish Rejuvenator, and Yavimaya Granger for another land. Okay, and then we're moving away from that, and this is all ETB creatures that will give you that extra card draw. So Dusk Legion Zealot, card draw, lose a life, and draw a card. Obviously, if it doesn't come from your, if it enters from your library, you can draw 2 cards instead. Obviously with Yarok, that is 4. Okay, Regal Force, big, strong, bad boy, and yeah, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each green creature you control. And if you haven't noticed already, this deck is sort of green-blue heavy with splashes of black. And Kiora from War of the Spark, again, another box I've opened recently. And another great thing, because you've got a lot of creatures in this deck that are power 4 or greater. So you're going to be drawing lots of cards and untapping target permanents. Wall of Blossoms, again, draw a card. Elvish Visionary, draw a card. Aether Adept. Now we've got some, I think the next few are sort of those flicker for yourself or just bouncing creatures back to your enemy's hand. So Aether Adept, perfect for that. Riftwing Cloudskate, again, return permanent to its owner's hand. Dreamstalker, return to its owner's hand. So yeah, not quite flicker because it's going back to your hand, but it's giving you that extra chance to really use that ETB on that creature again. Altered Ego, and these are all creatures now copying. So Altered Ego can't be countered and enters a copy, but with some +1/+1 counters on. Gigantoplasm, again, comes in as a copy of any creature. Mirror Image, enters battlefield, copy of any creature. Glasspool Mimic, again, copy of any creature, or it's that DFC card, so you've got an extra land if you are just a little bit short. Okay, now we've got 1 or 2 ETB creatures that will start giving you tokens, start really beefing up your board state. So Spore Mound, you're getting those 1/1 green Saplings onto the battlefield. Lotus Cobra, okay, it's not fully ordered as I thought, but yeah, Lotus Cobra again from Zendikar Rising, just really, really good with that landfall, start getting you extra mana. But there we go, Rampaging Baloths, again, landfall, but you're getting those 4/4 beasts whenever a land comes to the battlefield. And Acidic Slime, we've got 1 or 2 things that will start destroying your opponent's board state. So Acidic Slime, destroy artifact, enchantment or land. Then we've got its partner in crime in most decks, Wreck Sage, destroy artifact or enchantment. Okay, and then we've got some searching options. So Phyrexian Delver, when it ETBs, you can get a card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And here is sort of the win con of the deck, or one of the win cons. So Shrieking Drake for 1 blue mana, when it comes into play, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. Again, remember with all these cards, with Yarok, they're triggering twice, but put together with Peregrine Drake, when Peregrine Drake enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. Obviously that triggers twice, untap 10 lands. You can really just do this in a cycle, Shrieking Drake, Peregrine Drake, and any other card combination to start getting a ridiculous amount of mana and just start getting a ridiculous amount of creatures onto the battlefield. And then we've got some big boys, obviously God Eternal Ronus, just added from my War of the Spark booster box, because when it enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control until end of turn, and they gain vigilance. It's a no-brainer, it had to go in there. And we've got End Raise Forerunners, Vigilance, Trample Haste 7/7, and when it ETBs, other creatures get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. So if you've got ways, like with Peregrine Drake, to keep flickering it out, Peregrine Drake and Shrieking Drake, to keep flickering it out, playing it again, all your creatures are going to get +2/+2, +4/+4. It's going to keep going and going, and it really can just win you the game. Okay, and then we've just sort of got the rest. Again, a lot of these cards that you'll see here, instant sorceries, but a lot of them are those flicker cards. So here, exile target creature, and if it's a spirit, put a 1/1 counter on it. But it's getting those creatures back onto the battlefield to get those ETB triggers over and over. Again, when it ETBs, return target creature to its owner's hand. Not sure why that's there, probably should have been with the creatures, but ah well. Again, another flicker with Displace. And Thassa, again, a flickery creature. So at your end step, exile 1 other target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield. Perfect flicker fodder there. Illusionist Stratagem, again, another flicker and draw a card, so pretty good. Ghostly Flicker, another flicker. And then we've got some counter spells which are always needed in any commander deck. We've got Negate and Unwind, just because that gives you that option to untap even more lands. Okay, we've got Retreat to Coralhelm, another landfall mechanic. Again, perfect for playing a land and untapping or tapping target creatures, target enemy creatures if they're a pain, or untapping your creatures if you want to get some triggers off again. Wild Pair, again, an enchantment that is just perfect for this deck. Whenever a creature comes into play, you can search your library for a creature with the same power or toughness, and then, yeah, put it into play. And again, if you've got creatures which trigger when creatures are coming into play, it's just this big circle that's going round and round. And Shared Summons, again, another sort of tutory type card. Search your library for 2 creature cards with different names. So obviously in Commander decks, they're all going to have different names. So you can start getting that N-Rays Forerunners, God Eternal, Ronus, all of these creatures straight away. And it's just absolutely insane. And to end off with, I'll just sort of quickly flicker, see what I did there? Quickly flick through all the lands I've got. I will put a link in the description to the exact deck if you did want to have a look at it in more detail. Yeah, some good cards here. The Vivid lands I like to play in Commander decks because they just give you that extra mana option. And we've got loads of the dual ones. We've got some bounce lands in there. Got all sorts, dual lands, scrying, and more bounce lands, and we've got the DFC cards there. So here we've got the chance for a black or a blue, which is good. Opulent Palace, so one of any of the colours. Reliquary Tower, no maximum hand size, because you're going to be drawing so many cards that you're going to need that no maximum hand size output there for you. And Evolving Wilds, we just got the standard land cards to finish. There we go. Well, thank you guys for watching the deck tech, and yeah, if you've liked it, smash that like button, and obviously make sure you are subscribed for all things MTG, with lots of Kaldheim stuff coming starting from next week. Check out our link tree in the description for all of our social medias and affiliate links. Clicking on those and buying cards through those affiliate links really does help out the channel, so do really appreciate it. And if you haven't seen the video that is in the top left now, do give that a watch. I really do recommend it. But for now, I am all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.